Tai Chi Classics Thursday, right back at you. Welcome back, family. Always good to see you. Welcome back. We're going to pick up right where we left off from on last Thursday. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Tai Chi Classics that we've been sharing a translation by the master of Temple Tai Chi, my master, Master Waysun Liao. Definitely want to give him credits for all the work that he put into this wonderful Tai Chi Bible. But before we get started, you already know that if you've been liking the content and you want to continue to get the updates, go right ahead right now and push that subscribe button. Also, be sure to like and leave the comments, family. I've been really enjoying the comments that you've been leaving and giving feedback. That way we can continue to grow together in our Tai Chi. So I'm currently on page 92. And as I said, this is Tai Chi Classics by Master Waysun Liao. Page 92. It begins out, it says that Tai Chi emphasizes the development of the mind rather than the muscles. Since the mind can be developed infinitely beyond any limits of time and space. And actually, I had that highlighted in my book, so to me, that stands out. It's very important. It makes me think of Tai Chi's other name, meditation in motion. In order to have meditation in motion, we have to have a calm mind. By having a calm mind, our perception is simply enhanced and we're able to perceive things in a much better way. He goes on to say here that in Tai Chi practice, you will allow your mind to follow the Tai Chi principles, the principles of opposites, the principles of yin and yang. Physically, your body can move in only one direction at a time. He says here, for example, a move to your right side. Yet, in such a move, there are other possibilities, right? We may just move in one direction, but there's always multiple possibilities. He says moving to the left side, upward, downward, backwards, and thus, when you move in one direction, your mind should be simultaneously aware of all of these other possibilities. Now that takes me right into thinking about the laws of nature. If you pay attention to anything that's in motion, right? For example, let's look at a rocket. If a rocket is getting ready to be propelled or launched off into space, in order for that rocket to go off into space going upward, it absolutely has to have that downward thrust, right? So in order to go upwards, we must have downwards. In order to go left, we must have right. Think about it, family. If you're walking, like I'm standing here right now, if I want to go to my right side, I push off with my left foot to go right. If I want to go to my left side, I push off with my right foot to go left. It's all in accord with the universal principles that's displayed right here on this yin-yang emblem. Right here on this yin-yang emblem, right? Tai Chi. Tai Chi is everywhere. It's everything. He says, when you have achieved the practice of yielding and totally relaxing yourself, your body will be able to respond freely to the direction of the mind. So you see why it's so important to have a mind that is open and free and ready to change, and just at the drop of a dime, it can just change instantaneously. He says, when you have achieved the practice of yielding and totally relaxing yourself, your body will be able to respond freely to the direction of your mind. Theoretically, this type of training will allow the physical body to move as rapidly as the body's mental processes. And people always say, why is Tai Chi so slow? Well, it may appear slow on the outside, the physical movement, but remember, this is a mind training, family. This is a mind training, and the mind is much faster, much faster than our physical body. He says, although in actuality, Limitations on the physical movement may exist. Yeah, we may be physically limited. We may have some things, right? But don't forget about this. The discipline will result in a body that is more limber. Oh yeah, a lot more limber. And movements that are more controlled. So just keep taking your time, going slow, continue to do your meditation. And if you haven't found out about our 5:45 a.m. daily meditation gatherings that we have, you should most certainly leave me a message and find out about it. Meditation is for beginners as well as advanced practitioners, and of course it's free. I'll read this next line. He says, such principles relate to Tai Chi movement in the same way that uprooting an object and thereby destroying its foundation will make the object fall sooner. Think about this. Let's piggyback off of that statement. If you want to uproot a tree, I think about it the same way that I think about working in my garden when I'm pulling weeds. In order to pull the root of the weed out of the ground efficiently and don't just break off the top of the weed, I have to give the weed a little bit of a sideways tug to loosen it, right? I don't just pull it straight up. Once you loosen it, it loses its base, it loses its foundation, and you're able to remove it a lot easier. That's the Tai Chi principle in action right there. He says, in the practice of Tai Chi movement, uprooting power follows the principle presented previously in the example I just gave you with the weed. He says, the most efficient method of destroying an object's foundation is to uproot it. Uproot it. Tai Chi masters have widely emphasized this principle in relation to push hands practice. By allowing the mind to focus downward, this is pretty cool here. By allowing the mind to focus downward, the opponent will resist in an upward direction. How cool is that? How cool is that? Did you get it? Let me read it back. He says, by allowing the mind to focus downward. So focus your mind on downward, and the opponent will resist in an upward direction, and therefore allow you to uproot them easily and efficiently. Family, if you're training Tai Chi and you're not studying the classics, you're simply missing out on a lot of information. How big was that little tip right there? And that was all mental, not physical, right? Also, he says, besides clearly separating the positive and negative from one another, you should also clearly locate the substantial as well as the insubstantial. Hey, soul group, I see you coming in. I knew you guys weren't going to miss it. I knew you weren't going to miss it. This is our third episode. Welcome back. Welcome back. When the entire body is integrated with all parts connected, it becomes a vast connection of positive and negative energy units. Each positive and negative energy should be connected to every other unit and permit to interruption among them. I'll go over that one more time. He says each positive and negative unit of energy should be connected to every other unit and permit no interruption among them. Since the YinYang Theory is the main principle of Tai Chi. That's it right there, family. That's it right there. The main principle of Tai Chi. Looks simple, huh? Looks very simple, right? But very complex. We got a whole book here about it. He says, when you perform Tai Chi movements, the entire body must separate clearly into positive and negative portions. We have a root on the bottom, the earth energy. We have the sky on the top, heaven energy, yin-yang change. He says, for example, when your weight is placed more heavily on your right foot, when your weight is placed more heavily on your right foot, your right side of your body will be substantial, positive or yang, and the left side insubstantial, negative or yin. Talking about substantial versus insubstantial. He says, when you are moving forward, pay attention to this, family. Here's another highlight. When you are moving forward, the front side of your body will be the yang side, Y-A-N-G, yang. And the rear or back portion of your body will be the yin, Y-I-N, yin-yang change. Conversely, when you're moving backwards, don't let this confuse you, family. When you're moving backwards, your back will be yang. Does that make sense? Because the backwards is your primary direction, it becomes your yang movement. Okay, and your front will be your yin. Let that settle in right there. I know somebody may seem a little confused on that, thinking about the front being yin and the back being yang. But remember, he's talking about when the body is in motion, how that changes, right? Go a little further. He says, if your hand is moving forward, so we have these brush knee, hand moving forward, with the palm facing you, the back of your hand is yang, and the palm will be yin. In relation to your arm, the entire hand would be considered yang, and the arm, as it followed the forward direction of the hand, will be yin. A lot of yin-yang change taking place. That's what Tai Chi is all about. In relation to the other hand and arm, the entire moving hand and arm would be yang, while the other hand and arm would be yin. I know that's a lot. That's a lot to digest. He's going to break it down for us right here. He said the same principle can be applied to the entire body. So listen very carefully. The body consists of a large number of positive and negative energy units. Each small unit of yin and yang must connect to every other unit in a coordinated manner. Yin-yang change, with no interruption among them, in order to maneuver the entire body in a balanced yin-yang manner. Connecting to each other also means coordinating with each other. So notice, although we have a yin-yang here, right, and these are two opposites, right, yin-yang, these opposites are working together. So they're not being antagonistic. They're actually working in unison as one whole to make this whole Tai Chi exchange happen. He says connecting to each other also means coordinating with each other. Neither yin nor yang can act independently. They're mutually dependent upon each other, not antagonistic. So without regard for the other's motion. So it doesn't matter about the other's motion. They're always going to be in compliance with each other. That's the way that it works. That's the law of nature. That's energy, family. Let me read a little more. Because this is very important. Some of you out there actually have a long form that you practice, right? Right. I'm sure you do, because some of you are practicing with us. And he says right here, he's talking about our long form. In our long forms, your body should move like a rhythmic flow. That's the flow that everybody loves. It looks so beautiful. Like a rhythmic flow of water on a river, or like a rolling wave of the ocean. So beautiful and powerful, right? When you study Tai Chi, each meditative movement is a complete unit within the Tai Chi system. Sounds like he's talking about Singer posture practice. That's one of the key staples of Tai Chi inside of the temple Tai Chi system. As you combine your forms into larger and larger systems, see, first we start with simple, maybe one posture, just one, and we'll do it on opposite sides over and over. But over time, we put together a long choreography, a long form, right? This is what he's talking about, combining the form into a larger system. You should regard all of the forms as having become one long form, just as if you were to pour many cups of water into a large container, you would then have one container of water instead of many separate, smaller units. Make sense, fam? So group, that makes sense to you? Let me know. Drop something in the comments. Let me know if I'm losing you anywhere. He says, when you perform the forms, you should also allow your internal energy to drive your entire body to flow, so that it moves continuously, like water flowing in a river or like rolling waves of the ocean. Absolutely. Hey, yo, I didn't even know Guy 247 is here. How are you today? Welcome, welcome. Not sure if it's your first time or not, but this is our third gathering. We're going to do it every Thursday.
Do you practice Tai Chi yet?
Are you a Tai Chi practitioner? Have you read Master Liao's classics? Just checking, family, because if not, you're going to want to pick up a copy of this. You're going to definitely want to pick up a copy of this. All right? He says, in the long form, ward off, roll back, press, push, roll, pull, split, elbow, lean forward are called the forms of the 8 diagram, Bagua. The movements encompassing the 8 directions. In stance, moving forward, backwards, to the right side, to the left side, and staying in the center are called the 5 style steps. We teach all of this on our Tai Chi 360. He says ward off, roll back, press, and push are called the 4 cardinal directions. Roll, pull, split, elbow, lean forward forms are called the 4 diagonals. When combined, these forms are called the 13 original styles of Tai Chi Chuan. We should go over one more paragraph and we'll call that a conclusion. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in regards to any comments or any questions. Also, any requests that you may have in regards to any videos that you would like for us to have. Please feel free to drop it in the comments. Last paragraph here says, Tai Chi form originated as 13 postures of meditation. Remember, it's in the mind, family. 13 postures of meditation. And by the way, these are the classics of Master Chan Sang Feng. He says, these are the 8 postures or directions, the ward off, the roll back, the press, the push forms, comprising the 4 cardinal directions. We have ward off, roll back, press, and push, as well as lean forward forms comprising the diagonal directions. In combination with the 5 different ways of maneuvering the 8 meditative postures, forward, backwards, to the left side, to the right side, and staying in the center. I think that's a very good place for us to conclude for today. And once again, I'd like to thank you for continuing to follow us on Thursdays. We plan to continue to do this. It seems to be benefiting the community, and we've been getting a lot of positive feedback. So I say, why not? And family, as I said before, make sure you like, subscribe.